Welcome to CEO Insights interview series with our special guest, Zain Jaffer. This is our deep dive career focus interview format by the Chief Executives Council. My name is Neil Brown, CEO of the Chief Executives Council. And with me here today, I'm very pleased to introduce our special guest and panelist, Zain Jaffer, a seasoned entrepreneur and investor with a diverse portfolio in real estate and venture capital. He currently serves as CEO of Zain Ventures and a partner at Bluefield Capital, where he drives strategic investments across emerging industries. Previously, Zain was the founder and CEO of Vungle, a mobile ad tech company he led to over $400 million in annual revenue before its acquisition by Blackstone in 2019. Additionally, he established the Zain Jaffer Foundation to champion underrepresented social causes and promote sustainable development in disadvantaged communities. Through his leadership and philanthropic efforts, Zain is dedicated to fostering both innovation and positive social impact. Zain, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Very excited to chat about my career, and it's an honor to be on your platform.
Excellent. Oh, and I did want to mention, you notice Zain has a British accent, and his educational background is King's College London, Bachelor of Science in Business Management, and University College London, a Master of Science in Technology and Entrepreneurship, which I think will be relevant to what you're going to hear from Zain today. So Zain, with that, before we get into our interview questions, do you want to tell us a little bit about Bluefield Capital and Zain Ventures?
Yeah, so Zain Ventures is my family office. I set that up after I had my exit. So it was a big acquisition. It was a $780 million acquisition, all cash in 2019. So at that point, I decided I wanted to manage my own wealth. And so I set up the Zain Ventures family office. And doing that, I got to have relationships with many different LPs, limited partners. And one of those limited partners was a fund called Bluefield Capital. They just have generated great returns for my portfolio, so I wanted to learn a lot more. And rather than doing a lot of small real estate investments myself, I wanted to team up with them and use their platform to make bigger investments. So I'm also now a partner at Bluefield Capital, Bluefield Private Equity Real Estate Fund. We have a commercial real estate portfolio throughout the US, and I also set up the venture capital fund there, which is invested in 22 different prop tech startups.
Wow. That's great. Well, thanks for that background. And with that, let's get to our questions, and we will go on to video now. So let's start out. Zain, go ahead and click that video. There we go. All right. So first question. Please share a little bit about your early career and how did these experiences lead to Vungle?
You know, when I look back at my life story, when I was in the moment, everything was chaotic, but from this vantage point now doing this interview, it's very clear how the dots connect. So I was quite fortunate to have discovered the internet, and it kept me out of trouble when I was a teenager. And I started building websites, and you can tell with my accent, I have a British accent. Another thing that might not be apparent though, but it was back then, my voice started to break pretty early. So I had a deep voice for a 12, 13-year-old. So I would pick up the yellow pages and I would call up local companies and convince them to buy a website, and I would build the website for them. And so that was my first stint as an entrepreneur running a services business. And I grew that. I had employees working for me in India, and the unit economics were just phenomenal. I figured out I could hire someone full-time in India for $300. All I have to do is sell a website for more than $300 just once in that month to cover my cost. And my guys in India could churn out websites in a couple of hours. So I was up calling lots of local companies, your hotels and pet companies and restaurants, and convincing them they need an online presence. And as I started to do that, I realized I've got all this excess capacity. I've got a couple of guys working for me in India. Why am I building other people websites? I should be building websites for myself. And so I started to build content websites. I then figured out how SEO works, which basically means how to get the top spot in search engines. And back then it was pretty easy. So I had, top spots in most of the search engines for all the websites I would build. And when I got all this traffic, I started to become quite a large, well-known publisher for Google. So Google was trialing out their advertising programs. And there I was putting ads on my website. And Google came to me and said, we're launching video ads. Well, we think that all these TV advertisers are going to want to access websites. And this was a very novel idea at the time. And they chose me as one of the top 150 publishers in the entertainment sector. And I started putting video ads on my websites. And some of these were like gaming websites. There were websites with galleries of celebrities, community discussion boards. And I got really interested in the idea of video at the time. So video is one of the key threads of my career. Okay, and that was my first exposure to it. Now, as I continued to do entrepreneurial ventures, I then was forced to study in the UK university system. And when I say forced, I'm Indian. My parents were very much about education. Me, I wanted to just continue building my dream and running startups. So my parents said to me, you have to go to university. After that, you're free to do what you want. So I went to university, and over there, I met a guy, another British guy. His name was just so typical, Jack Smith. I'm not making that up, but Jack Smith, okay? And he's running this video company where they're building tutorials. So video tutorials on how to use Microsoft Office, how to use Adobe Photoshop, videos on how to use your Windows operating system or your Mac. And I thought, this is such a cool startup. I want to join you and I want to help take this thing and put it online. He was basically selling DVDs when I joined him, and we started building an online platform. It would have been similar to lynda.com, LinkedIn videos, or even a YouTube or Udemy. That didn't go anywhere, by the way. But what we did figure out was that mobile apps are emerging. And all these mobile apps, they need a way to describe what they do. So we should take our video focus and build videos for them. And so we set up a video production agency. We were helping all these new companies build adverts, basically. And that's when we realized, it's not just about building these video ads for these companies. They have nowhere to put these video ads. They can put it on YouTube, but that's about it. And then it came to us the idea, why don't we create a mobile app advertising platform where we take their videos and put them inside of other apps? And what it became was just phenomenal. It turned into a multi-$100 million revenue business. It definitely was not an overnight success. But when I look back at it, time flew by very quickly. And we became the leaders in what we call video advertising on smartphones. And here I am today, some time later.
Wow, neat. So you kind of stumbled into it a bit.
Exactly.
Very